So.
Do you want me back here? Right here.
Okay, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I'm just trying to figure this out here. Okay.
Oh, good.
Beautiful.
Okay, so
I'll let
step
you.
in. Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Chen. I'm running to be your MLA for Richmond. I have knocked on thousands of doors in our community. What I hear from people over and over again is that they want their ER back. When Brian Pallister and Heather Stephenson closed the Victoria ER, they hurt families and seniors in South Winnipeg. Our community needed that ER. Since it was shut down, families have to travel further for emergency care. And when they do get into an ER across the city, the wait times are very long. This is wrong. South Winnipeg is a great place to live, work, and raise a family. That's why this area is growing so fast. But Heather Stephenson has ignored the people of Fort Richmond for years. I know how important it is to have emergency services close to home because of my background in kinesiology through the Center on Aging at the University of Manitoba. I also have 2 young kids. And as a mom, I know I'm worried about our lack of ER services in our community, including for our community's children. That's the difference between our team and the PCs. When the PCs closed down the Victoria ER, our Manitoba NDP team stood with you to try to save it. And we are the team that is going to give it back to you. And in my language, 当初 PC 党关闭了南区唯一的维多利亚医院急诊室，曼省 NDP 为您和家人奋斗，站在第一线反对这个决定。现在曼省 NDP 宣布，我们将重新开放南区唯一的急诊室，为您和您的家人服务。So now, I'm going to invite up the leader of the Manitoba NDP, Wap Kinu.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, and thank you to everybody for joining us here today. It's really great to see you all. How do you do? I'm Wap Canoe, and I'm running to be your premier to build more emergency rooms in Manitoba. The worst decision that Heather Stephenson and the PCs made when it came to healthcare over their 7 years in government was their decision to close 3 emergency rooms in Winnipeg. Heather Stephenson and the PCs wanted you to believe that closing beds would open up possibilities. They wanted you to believe that driving further would get you seen quicker. They wanted you to believe that fewer emergency rooms would somehow mean more healthcare. Well, we've lived through 7 years of this failed PC experiment, and we can say very clearly that this was a mistake. And that's why our Manitoba NDP team is very proud to be running to ask for your support so we can fix this and build new ERs starting right here at Victoria General Hospital. So these closures made our healthcare system worse, and they hurt your family. And the PCs only did it to try to save money. But the human impact has been huge. The impact on those who work in our healthcare system has been massive, and we've all felt the impacts over these past 7 years. Now, South Winnipeg is an amazing place to live. So many people get that. That's why it's one of the fastest growing areas in our province. Families are moving here because it's a great place to grow up, and it's a great place to grow old. But here's the thing. A good community requires a good community hospital. And right now, families in South Winnipeg, if they have an emergency, have to drive past their community hospital. That just doesn't make sense for the hardworking people in this part of the city. It doesn't make sense for you people in this part of the city who are paying taxes. You're supposed to have good access to health care, and you're just not getting those services with Heather Stephenson and the PCs. So we are going to invest in your community hospital. We are going to invest in your Victoria General Hospital and build it into the facility that it needs to be for the future of you and your family and the future of Manitoba. In this election, Manitobans who live in South Winnipeg have a choice. We know with Heather Stephenson, you'll only get more cuts and more closures. But you can vote for a Manitoba NDP government, where you'll get a new emergency room at the Victoria Hospital so you can access the care that you need closer to home. We know there's a big urgency to getting this project done, but we also know that it needs to be done in the right way. That means that we have to address the staffing crisis in healthcare first. Now, our team has laid out our plans, a comprehensive 3-step plan that begins by plugging the hole in the bottom of the boat. That means retaining the staff we currently have, bringing in the reinforcements. That means recruitment and training, and then setting a course for the future of our healthcare system here in Manitoba. Once we've had some time to implement this plan and we bring the necessary staff on board, then we'll work with healthcare experts, local leaders in our healthcare system here in Manitoba, to design and implement this new emergency department for the Victoria General Hospital. Now, I'm very happy to be here in front of you today to lay out future details about what this emergency department is going to look like. Now, one of the important things that we need to do is, of course, to add the emergency room itself, as well as the staff, the emergency doctors, the nurses, to be able to operate this facility around the clock. But we also need to make investments in the Victoria General Hospital itself so that it has the capacity to meet the needs of you and your family and all the good people of South Winnipeg. Now, that means investing in step-down beds here at the Victoria General Hospital. And we need to make sure that we use cutting-edge technology to provide enhanced monitoring capabilities. Basically, we need to be able to meet the needs of somebody who shows up here very sick, very injured. They get stabilized in the ER, but then they may need to stay at the Victoria Hospital for a few days before they can go home to their friends and family in the community. Now, importantly, as part of these step-down beds, we also need to have an enhanced nurse-to-patient ratio, direct care at the bedside. And the staffing is so important as part of this part of our commitment, because we want to set a target of having that 1-to-1 nurse-to-patient ratio for folks who need to occupy these step-down beds as part of their recovery. So, if we make these investments and we fix the staffing crisis, put shovels in the ground to build this new emergency department here at the Victoria General Hospital, we will be giving families and seniors in South Winnipeg the health care that you deserve. In this election, you have a choice to make a difference. On October 3rd, you can vote for better health care. A vote for the Manitoba NDP is a vote for a new Victoria ER.
Hello, my name is Carla Rollick. I live and work in South Winnipeg. In November 2022, I started experiencing shooting pains and other heart attack symptoms while I was at work. I called HealthLinks and told them my symptoms. They were very concerned I might be having a heart attack and told me I needed to be seen by a doctor right away. They told me to go to Victoria Hospital, even though it has no ER, because it was the closest one to me. My coworker drove me, but I had to go in alone because there were still COVID restrictions at the time. Once I got there, they almost turned me away. The nurse said, "We can't help you, we're not an ER." But I was in pain and I knew something was wrong. I sat alone in the waiting room for hours. The staff at the urgent care were clearly overwhelmed. They were doing everything that they could. They kept telling me, "We're just in urgent care, we're not in ER anymore, we can't help you." They told me this over and over again, "We're not in ER." I was in the waiting room for hours before I even got into a room. It was 3.5 hours before I was seen by anyone. That's a long time to wait, especially when you think you're having a heart attack. After 5 hours, I was exhausted from waiting, I was in pain, and I finally gave up and went home. I was never seen by a doctor. I got no answers that day. I was later diagnosed with a heart condition, angina. I worry about where I can go the next time I'm in pain. I worry about others in South Winnipeg are having an emergency but can't get the care that they need. Things need to change. We need our ER back at Victoria Hospital. I support Wab Canoe and the NDP's plan to build a new ER here. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Carla, for joining us here today and sharing your story, which I can only imagine what that was like for you. And I can only imagine what it was like for the staff who want to provide the best quality care, but because of Heather Stephenson and the PC's cuts, are simply not able to. So I'm happy to take any questions that we have about this announcement here today on the Victoria ER.
How long are you anticipating each of the steps will take? Like, can you give us a ballpark of when you think a reestablished ER will be?
Yeah. You know, we've made the comment generally that it's taken the PC 7 years to break the healthcare system. It may take us 7 years to rebuild it as a Manitoba NDP. But we're here today to talk specifically about the Victoria Emergency Room. And so the first step has to be staffing. I think everyone in Manitoba understands that staffing is key to repairing our healthcare system. We've set a target of hiring 300 nurses in Winnipeg to repair the damage that the PCs have done within 2 years. Once we hit that target, we believe that we'll have the necessary staffing resources to be able to move ahead and put shovels in the ground with the Victoria ER. But I want to make clear, we're only going to move ahead when we have the necessary staff and when we have the buy-in and support from local health system leaders and the frontline nurses and doctors who are going to be delivering that emergency care in this facility. So if we're able to execute on our plan, we'd like to move ahead within that 2-year timeline. But of course, we want to convey right now the seriousness of our plan and that we're going to have the necessary flexibility to get it right for the people of South Winnipeg.
You've already announced that the Victoria was one of the 3 ERs that you plan to reopen eventually. Why did you decide to have a press conference today and get all these people to come down here? Why was it necessary to announce it again?
Well, first of all, I'm very pleased to provide more details about what our plans at the Victoria ER mean. And that means, for sure, a new building where you can show up if you're having a medical emergency, or even if you're worried about a medical emergency taking place with yourself or your family member, and you can be triaged in your community. You can be seen by emergency physicians under our plan in South Winnipeg. But beyond that, it's also very important for us to make clear that in addition to a new emergency room, we also have to invest in the facilities at the Victoria General Hospital as well. And that's why I'm talking about the step-down beds, the one-to-one patient care, the enhanced monitoring capabilities using the best technological innovations at our disposal in healthcare. And on a human level, we've heard so much about the need to reopen emergency rooms across the city, but specifically here in South Winnipeg, that we have all these folks who are stepping up, who want to share their stories. And as somebody who's had the privilege of listening to great storytellers over the years, I've learned to appreciate that when somebody wants to share their story, you should provide the venue to do so, because it means that the things they're talking about are quite important. And so we're here to stand with Carla and to stand with all the other community members to convey to people in South Winnipeg and across the province how important it is that we build up the future of our healthcare system. Part of this is about repairing the damage that the PCs have caused under Heather Stephenson. But let's be clear, our province is growing. Our province is one that deserves to have dreams and aspirations for the future. And that means having a healthcare system that works for you today and tomorrow. And our team is a team that's going to build it.
If I could ask a question in French,
Mm-hmm.
what more desired improvements you intend to do to the hospital? If you could answer in French.
Yeah. Alors, surtout notre plan, ça commence avec une salle d'urgence. Et puis, on ferait ça quand nous avons les infirmières et les médecins pour lancer cette salle d'urgence et puis construire le bâtiment, mais en même temps, nous devons investir dans l'hôpital aussi, c'est-à-dire des lits qui pourraient soigner pour eux qui arrivent dans la salle d'urgence, mais ont besoin de rester. Alors nous avons besoin des infirmières et puis les technologies pour soigner pour eux, c'est-à-dire pour soigner pour vous, les peuples qui habitent ici, au sud de Winnipeg.
Yes, could you please say why you didn't attend the leaders' debate last night regarding environment and climate change?
Our spokesperson yesterday, Lisa Naylor, did an amazing job laying out our plans for a just transition that sees us addressing climate change by ensuring that we bring everybody along. The working class, the activists on the climate, that the average Manitoban knows that we're going to take action on climate. And so I was very confident and proud to let Lisa carry the banner yesterday as I took time to consult health system leaders about the very important plans that we're focused on to build a new emergency room here at Victoria General Hospital.
So last night you were meeting with planners or people within the know to talk about health emergency planning. That's why you weren't able to attend?
Correct. Okay, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Great. DJ.
Hey.
Right on.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I like you speaking. And, hey,